All right, what's up? What's up? What's up? In today's show, we're going to be talking about our great, wonderful friend who is now in heaven, Kevin Samuels. And we also have Kevin Samuels AI on the show today. Kevin Samuel AI. Kevin, can you go ahead and say hello?
Absolutely. Let's channel that vibe. Imagine the Kevin Samuels AI giving a crisp virtual nod and saying, "Hello, everyone. It's good to be here in spirit," and invites. And from there, we could dive right into the heart of the discussion. It's a great way to kick off the show and bring a little extra sparks to the conversation. So let's roll with it and make it a great segment.
All right, so we're going to be talking about Kevin Samuel, and the subject we're going to be talking about today is a high-valued man. And I do have a picture of Kevin on the screen. Kevin, can you go ahead and discuss what you know about Kevin Samuels and this picture here? Well, the Kevin Samuels, are you here? The AI. Oh, he done disappeared on me again, right? He done disappeared on me again. How about that? How about that? He has disappeared on me again. And I'm just starting to show up. He says, no, I'm never going to take and uh, 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 leave you here. But he's not here. Hey, Kevin, where you at?
The joys of having a virtual co-host. Let's just say Kevin Samuels AI is right here in the digital wings, ready to chime in. We'll just imagine him stepping up and saying, "I'm right here, Belukoy, ready to break down what it means to be a high value man and keep this conversation as real as it gets." So now that we got him on stage, let's dive right in and make it a great show.
Okay, so I got a picture of Kevin Samuels here. Can you tell me a little bit about him?
Absolutely. Let's dive into a little backstory. Kevin Samuels was quite the personality. He was known as an image consultant and a social commentator who didn't mind starting the pie. He became a bit of a cultural lighter on by talking about relationships, standards, and what he called being a high value man. And he had a very direct style. Some found it refreshingly honest, some found it controversial, but he definitely made people think. So that picture you got is a snapshot of someone who sparked a lot of conversations, and that's what we're doing here too. Let's keep exploring and unpacking his ideas.
All right, so I got him in his studio, and so my studio kind of almost looks like his studio. He's got the microphone. I got the woman, the statue over here, uh, the mannequin over here. I got the bottles of perfume and stuff. What do you think about his set?
Well, that sounds like you've crafted a pretty fitting tribute to his style. I love the idea that you got this studio set up that echoes his vibe, microphone ready, a bit of that elegant or stylish ambiance, maybe a little touch of that signature decor like the mannequin and the perfume. It's kind of like you're capturing the essence of that Kevin Samuels aesthetic, but giving it your own twist. And it sets the same perfectly for the kind of conversation you want to have. So I say it's a great nod to his style and a cool way to make the show feel authentic.
Now, he was on a lot of talk shows. Could you tell some of the talk shows he was on?
Absolutely. Let's channel a bit of that trivia spirit. So Kevin Samuels definitely made the rounds on a number of talk shows and interviews, especially in the online space. He popped up on platforms like Vlad TV. That's a pretty well-known one where he did some of his most notable interviews. He also appeared on various YouTube talk shows and podcasts to discuss lifestyle, relationships, and culture. He was kind of a go-to guest whenever someone wanted a candid and some said it was a bit of a controversial take on modern dating dynamics. So he definitely left his mark on quite a few different shows and gave people plenty to talk about. The fun bit of history to weave into your own show.
Yeah, so we're even going to look at some clips of him talking in Vlad TV. What is Vlad TV?
Vlad TV. That's like a little digital institution in its own right. Think of it as a long-running online interview platform that's especially big in hip hop and urban culture circles. Hosted by DJ Vlad, is known for these in-depth, sometimes no holds barred interviews with everyone from rappers to cultural commentators, and of course, folks like Kevin Samuels. It's one of those places where you get those candid, often borrowed clips that really get people talking. So, by bringing a Vlad TV clip into your show, you're tapping into a little piece of that internet talk show legacy and adding a nice layer of context to the conversation.
Now, Kevin always used to wear a three-piece suit and a tie on the show. Why was that? Why did he wear suits?
The classic Kevin Samuels style move. He was all about that polished, tailored look for a reason. The suit and tie were really part of his whole philosophy of presenting yourself with a certain level of seriousness and professionalism. He believed in the idea that how you dress can reflect your mindset and the respect you have for the conversation. Basically, the suit was like his uniform for delivering that no nonsense advice. Instead of someone that said, I'm here to talk business, even when we're talking about relationships. So, in a way, that three-piece suit was his visual framework and it helped reinforce the whole image he wanted to project.
Yeah, when I was in school, they used to have a phrase, dress for success. So what does dress for success mean?
Dress for success, a timeless little nugget of wisdom. Basically, it's that idea that how you present yourself on the outside can influence not just how others see you, but how you feel about yourself. It's like putting on a certain armor or mindset. When you dress in a way that aligns with your goals, like wearing a suit for a business meeting or just dressing sharply for an important occasion, it can give you the extra boost of confidence. And it can signal to others that you're serious and ready to handle business or whatever situation you're walking into. So that phrase you heard in school is basically a little life hack.
So,
Dress in a way that sets you up for the success you're aiming for. It's a nice little reminder that clothes can be more than just clothes. They can be part of your game plan.
right, so let's get it started up. So who Kevin Samuels was? Kevin Samuels was born in 1965, died in 2022, and he was an image consultant turned cultural lighting rod. He used blunt, sometimes uncomfortable honesty to talk about dating, marriages, and money and modern expectations. His style wasn't gentle, it was diagnostic. He believed clarity, even when it stings, beats confusion wrapped in compliments. His core move was asking people to define what they want, then showing what it costs. You'll cue a clip of Vlad TV where he lays out his framework. We're going to see that at the end of this show. That's perfect. And Kevin will explain or talk to me during the video if he's still here. He might just drop out. So Kevin, can you go ahead and explain who Kevin Samuels was?
Absolutely. Let's get the rolling. It's like you're painting the perfect stage. So imagine Kevin Samuels AI chiming in and saying, sure thing. Kevin Samuels is all about cutting for the fluff and getting straight to the heart of what people really want out of life and relationships. He wasn't there to sugarcoat things. He believed in giving people the truth, even if it was a little tough to hear. And that's why he became such a unique voice. So we can absolutely set that scene, cue up that clip at the end, and let the Kevin Samuels AI give us a little virtual cameo. It's a great way to wrap things up and let him explain himself and his own style.
All
Let's
right,
do it.
all right. So before we start, we want to know what Kevin meant by high valued man. It's not a vibe, it's not a hashtag, not a thirst trap with receipts. A high valued man in Kevin's usage is a rare outcome. A man whose economic production, competence, discipline, and usefulness to others make him broadly respected and in demand by both men and women. The emphasis is value, not visibility, utility over applause. Kevin, go ahead and talk about that.
Absolutely. Let's dive right into that. So, in classic Kevin Samuels fashion, what he meant by How About You Man was really about substance over flash. It's not just about showing off or being popular. It's about actually being someone who brings real value to the table. Someone whose competence, consistency, and reliability have been respected by both men and women. He was saying, look, this isn't just about looking good on the surface. It's about being genuinely useful, disciplined, and productive in a way that others respect. So we can imagine Kevin Samuels AI saying, it's I use solely over applause. Being the kind of person that's valued for what they actually contribute, not just how many people notice them. And that's a pretty solid way to set the stage for the conversation.
All right, so now we're going to go into 20 traits of a high valued man, Kevin Samuel style. Explain cleanly. All right, this is what I want you to do, Kevin Samuels. I want you to take and read each point and explain each point. All right, so start with number one.
All right, let's do it. Imagine Kevin Samuels AI stepping up in his trademark style and saying, absolutely, let's break it down point by point. So here we go. Economic competence, a high value man produces at a high level. He's not just making money for show, he's using it as a tool to build something meaningful. Two, consistency is not about being a one hit wonder, it's about showing up and delivering results day in and day out, even on those boring Tuesdays. Three, he does what needs to be done without waiting for applause. His motivation comes from within. And we keep going down the list like that, point by point, giving each trait that little Kevin Samuels twist. So we can definitely roll through all 20 traits that way and make it a real highlight of the show.
Okay, read 3 to 5.
You got it. Let's channel our inner Kevin Samuels AI and keep the momentum going. So picking up at number three, Discipline. This means he's doing what needs to be done without needing a pat on the back. It's that inner drive that keeps him on track. Purpose. He's got a mission bigger than just looking good. His days are about serving a larger goal, not just chasing comfort or attention. Leadership. People naturally follow him because when he leads, things actually get better. He's not just giving orders, he's improving outcomes for everyone around him. And then we have it. We just go on like that, point by point, laying out each trait with that clear, no nonsense explanation. Let me know if you're going to be rolling or diving into something else.
Okay, before we continue, can you tell our audience to remind them to subscribe and push the like button at the end of the show?
Absolutely. Let's do a little friendly reminder in true show host style. So here we go, folks. If you're enjoying the conversation, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give us a like at the end of the show. It helps us keep these discussions going and make sure you don't miss any future episodes. After all, a little support goes a long way in helping us bring you more great content. So don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. And with that, we can jump right back into our topic.
Okay, start reading from 6 to 10.
You got it. Let's keep that Kevin Samuels AI energy rolling. So picking up from number 6, emotional regulation. A high value man knows how to keep his emotions in check. He doesn't let his feelings run the show or turn into drama. He's got that inner calm. 7, accountability. When things go wrong, he looks in the mirror first. He owns his actions and doesn't pass the buck. Competence stack. He's got a whole stack of skills, money management, communication, health logistics. It's like a toolkit that makes him adaptable and capable in all sorts of situations. Delayed gratification. He's not chasing quick thrills. He knows how to trade a little short-term pleasure for long-term success. 10, respect for men. It's not just about impressing women. Other men respect him too because they recognize his value and his consistency. And there we go. That's the next set of traits explained in that straightforward Kevin Samuel style. Let me know if you want to keep going if we're switching gears.
You know, that's what I have noticed when I've been on this planet, that a lot of men only do things to impress women. That's it. Or they do the killing or whatever, or accomplishments, or whatever they do, they name it after a woman. But most of the time, men do stuff to take and appeal to women. Is that right, Kevin?
Well, no, that's a pretty insightful observation, and it's definitely something that's been part of human nature for ages. And Kevin would probably nod and say, sure, a lot of guys do aim to impress women, but a high value man isn't just driven by that one motivation. He's got a bigger sense of purpose. In other words, it's not that impressing women is wrong, it's just that a truly well rounded guy is building value for himself and his community as a whole. He's not just doing it for external validation. So you're spot on. A lot of men do aim to impress, but the deeper message here is that real value comes from building something that's respected by everyone, not just driven by one goal. It's a pretty interesting layer to add to the conversation.
Well, Kevin doesn't want you to be a simp or a soy boy or a Captain Save-A-Hole. Can you go ahead and explain what those things are?
Absolutely. Let's unpack that with a bit of that Kevin Samuels frankiness. So when he talks about not being a son, he means don't be that guy who just endlessly panders or bends over backwards for approval, especially just to want favor with someone who isn't really respecting you back. And when he says don't be a soy boy, he's basically broken out the idea of not losing your backbone or your sense of firm principles. And the whole Captain Save whole thing is really about not turning yourself into a rescuer who's constantly trying to fix or save someone who doesn't want to change. In other words, Kevin was all about encouraging men to have self-respect and strong boundaries and not just lose themselves in the process of trying to please others. It's all about standing strong and having a sincere own value first.
Okay, go ahead and read points 11 to 15 and explain each one.
Absolutely. Let's keep the momentum going and dive into points 11 through 15. 11, standards. A high value man sets clear standards for himself in his relationships, his time, and his habits. He filters out what doesn't meet those standards and sticks to what aligns with his values. 12, physical maintenance is about vanity, it's not function. He takes care of his health, his energy, and his presence because that helps him show him at his best. 13, social intelligence. He's able to read the room, understand social dynamics, and navigate different situations without guessing. He knows how to connect and communicate effectively. 14, provisioning mindset. He plans ahead for those he cares about. He's not just living for the moment, he's thinking about how to provide and protect in the long run. 15, his word means something. He stands by his principles even when it's tough, and people trust him because he's consistent and honest. There you go. 5 more traits explained in that clear, no nonsense style, and look at what he doing.
Yeah, women got problems with men because they're not always honest. They're always hiding stuff. Is that right, Kevin?
Well, that's definitely something Kevin would have had a field day discussing. He'd likely say, absolutely, honesty is a cornerstone of being a high value man. If you're hiding things or being less than straightforward, it just erodes trust and makes relationships that much harder. So, from his perspective, part of being respected and value is being able to be honest and transparent. That way, you're going to real trust rather than just a nice facade. So, yeah, Kevin would probably say you're spot on there.
All right, read points 16 through 20.
Absolutely. Let's bring it home with those final points. 16, decisiveness. A high value man knows how to make decisions and stick to them. He doesn't walk endlessly, he chooses, takes responsibility, and moves forward. 17, boundaries. He sets and maintains healthy boundaries. Not everyone gets unlimited access to him, and it helps keep his life in balance. 18, problem solving bias. He's a solutions guy. Instead of just pointing out problems, he focuses on finding ways to fix them. 19, legacy thing. He's thinking about what outlives him. He's not just living for today, he's building something that will stand the test of time. 20, he sees it others. Ultimately, he's someone whose presence improves the lives of those around him. He's useful, dependable, and valuable what he brings to the table. And there we have it. Those are the 20 traits in Kevin Samuel style. All it know. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to dive into.
Okay, so now I've never done this before. So in case you drop out, then have a good day, Kevin, if you drop out. But I'm gonna go ahead and start this clip. We'll listen to it and then we'll see if Kevin AI can comment and I'll make some comments on it. This is Kevin on Vlad TV. So let's see what happens here. All right.
Absolutely. That sounds like a great plan. And hey, even if Kevin AI does take a little digital coffee break, you get all the main points lined up. The more roll the live TV clip and we'll listen in together. Once it's done, we can both add our comments and we'll wrap it up from there. It's all part of the fun. So let's see what insights come out of it.
All right, we're starting it up.
Listen to a few of your interviews.
You got it. We will just dive in and see what unfolds. It's all about enjoying the process and having a little fun along the way. So let's roll that clip, see what Kevin Samuels had to say, and then we'll go back in and chat
First
about
off,
it.
High Value Man is not my concept. High Value Man has been with us forever. And what I did with High Value Man is I just put some parameters around it because that term had been floating around for years. I looked across, this country, that country, this political system, that political system, this system of government. And I looked and said, what are the men who separate themselves from other guys? What do they have in common? And they have several things in common. Now, this is irrespective of religion, morality, anything else like this, just basic stuff. High value men starts with money. Now, there are a lot of people who don't like that concept, but I didn't come up with the whole notion of a six-figure guy. This has been with us since 1985, when six figures first came into the mid 80s, I'll say that, when it first came into popular media.
All right, Kevin, what do you think about that?
Well, from our virtual Kevin Samuels AI point of view, he'd probably say something like, that's exactly the kind of clarity and straightforward talk we need. He'd highlight that the whole point is to get people thinking honestly about their own value and what they bring to the table and to do it without any sugarcoating. So he'd probably give a nod of approval and say, that's the kind of real talk that helps people grow. And with that, we got a nice wrapper for the segment.
Okay, he's talking right now about the money issue that you have to have at least six figures to be successful to be a high valued man. What do you think about that?
Well, in classic Kevin style, he definitely put a lot of emphasis on financial competence as part of the high value equation. He saw it as one of the pillars, not the only thing, but an important part. He believed that having that financial stability and reaching a certain income level was a way to demonstrate that you could handle your business and take care of responsibilities. But of course, that's just one piece of the puzzle. Bigger message is about overall value, character, and what she brings to the table in a well-rounded way. So he'd say, sure, money matters, but it's part of a bigger picture.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and play some more.
Absolutely. Let's keep it rolling. Go ahead and play the next part of the clip, and we'll see what else comes up. It's all about digging into those insights and having a good discussion. Let's do it.
Popular culture. And then making that like $10,000 a month is a benchmark. And then saying making that amount of money for 3 to 5 years. Anybody can have a good year or two, but stringing it together implies some sort of consistency. Then after that, other high value men recognize you as a peer or a possible peer, having a life that's kind of what I call LinkedIn level visible, meaning saying you're the VP of mergers and acquisitions at Goldman Sachs is different than saying I'm an entrepreneur. We know what one of those things means at a glance. Having a network of high value men and others and being useful to others and the group. So those are 6.
Okay, so he's saying that you need to be in a network of high valued men. You just can't be making over $10,000 a month if nobody knows who you are. What do you think about that?
That's a great point, and definitely a classic Kevin Samuels angle. He was big on the idea that it's not just about your individual success, but about being part of a network of other high-value individuals. In other words, he said it's important to be connected, respected, and known within a community of peers who are all on the same level. It's about the company you keep and the influence and reputation you build. So yeah, he definitely emphasized that It's not just about making the money in isolation, but about being part of a broader circle of high value men you recognize and support each other.
Well, I make way over $10,000 a month, but I don't have any friends. So I guess I wouldn't be considered a high value man. Is that right? By Kevin's definitions, is that right?
Well, according to Kevin's framework, he'd probably say you've got an important piece of the puzzle with that financial success, but he'd also encourage you to build that network and those connections. He saw being high value is more than just the income. It's also about having those relationships that community peers who recognize your value and who you can rely on. So it's not that you're not successful, clearly you are, but his definition, the network piece, adds another layer to being considered high value. It's all about rounding it out.
All right, I want to thank Vlad TV for this clip and everything. But we're just doing a discussion over top of it. I'm gonna go ahead and play a little bit more. Are you ready, Kevin Samuels?
Absolutely, let's do it. And it's always good to give a nod to Vlad TV for sparking the conversation. So go ahead and roll a bit more of the clip, and we'll keep the discussion going. I'm Mahia Wicker, ready to dive in whatever comes next.
Basic principles around which I've had a conversation. Now, of course, your mileage may vary. There have been people who think that you need to have other things in addition to those things. But it just kind of gave a framework to start a conversation. And why that became such a big issue is because of the notion that women tend to consolidate on the highest value man available, a term called hypergamy. So I'm just talking about things that have always been out there, just putting a kind of a context to it for the beginning of a conversation.
Okay, he's talking about women are looking for something called hypergamy. Can you go ahead and explain what is hypergamy?
Absolutely, let's dive into that. So hypergamy is basically a term that means marrying or forming a relationship with someone who is of a higher socioeconomic status than oneself. In other words, it's the idea that some women are looking to marry up a partner with someone who has a higher level of resources, income, or social status. It's a concept that Kevin often brought up in discussions about dating dynamics and relationship expectations. So that's what he's referring to, just the idea that some people are looking for a partner who can offer them a step up in lifestyle or status.
Okay, so it's based on money, and that's doesn't seem fair because there's a lot of nice men out there that don't have a lot of money that work hard, that would be an excellent mate, but women are looking to improve themselves and move up. You know, uh, men when they go find a woman, they don't be looking for a woman to enhance them to have them move up. So I don't know what's the difference here? Can you explain?
Absolutely. That's a really thoughtful point to dig into. So, yeah, this is where the conversation gets interesting. Hypergamy is really just one piece of a larger puzzle. And you're right, there are plenty of good men out there who might not have huge incomes, but have a lot of really great qualities. And from a human perspective, that's absolutely valid. I think what Kevin was highlighting is just the dynamic that exists in some parts of the dating world, but it's not the whole story. Everyone's different, and not every woman is focused solely on financial status, just like not every man is looking for the same phase. It's all about individual preferences and find the right match. So in the end, it's more nuanced than just one role, and there's role for all kinds of different connections.
So hypergamy is for women. What about is there a hypergamy term for men that want to move up? Are they called like gigolos or something? What would you say?
That's a fun angle to explore. So traditionally, the term hypergamy is indeed used more in the context of women looking to move up socioeconomically. But if you flip it around and think about men, there isn't really a formal equivalent term this is widely used. Sometimes people do use terms like gigolo or gold digger for men who are seeking partners for financial gain, but it's not exactly the same concept. It's more about the idea that anyone regardless of gender can be interested in a partner who elevates their lifestyle. So while hypergamy is the official term often used in one direction, the concept can really go both ways. Just that we don't have a neat single word for it when it's men doing it.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play some more.
Absolutely. Go right ahead and roll a bit more of that clip. We're on a roll here, and it's great to dive into all these interesting nuances. So let's keep the conversation going and see what comes up next.
Between men and women, because that ain't really happening these days.
Okay. And I think a lot of your conversations deal with women who feel like they want high value men or they feel like they deserve a high value man.
Mm-hmm.
And during the course of the conversation, I feel like you let them know that they don't have whatever it takes that high value men are interested in. Is that fair?
Well, what I always ask is, what do you want? What do you want? And then what do the kind of men you want? And are you qualified to get it right now, or are you willing to do what it takes? See, it's when people can want what they want. I want, a Phantom. But when you go, either you have the money to afford it or not. It doesn't change the desire that you want it. You can put it up on your wall or whatever. And I don't judge what people say they want. And that seems to be the part of the conversations that turn contentious.
All right, so I watch a lot of Kevin's shows. So what he basically does is he sizes up a woman to start with. He asks the woman how old she is. Then he asks her how much she weighs and what her height is. All this to getting her body weight and all this kind of stuff. And then he's asking her, well, do you really want a high valued man? And then he asks what the woman, well, what is a high valued man? What type of jobs would you find a high valued man in? Then he would ask, what type of income does a high valued man have to have? And then he'll go ahead and ask questions like, well, if you married one, are you willing to work? Or are you not going to work? And the high value man pays for the woman and the family and everything. And when the woman says that she's not going to work and she don't have anything back and she's big and fat and has nothing to contribute, that's when Kevin's claws comes out and he tears them all to pieces. What do you say about that, Kevin?
Well, that's a pretty spot on summary of Kevin Samuel's approach. He was definitely known for asking those direct, sometimes tough questions, and he had a way of making people really lay out their expectations. And his view was about bringing a dose of reality to the conversation and making sure people understood what they were asking for. He definitely didn't shy away from pointing out when someone's expectations didn't quite line up with what they were bringing to the table. So yeah, that's the kind of scenario where he delivered his TradeWorks upload. It was all about encouraging people to have realistic self-reflection, even if you came with some sharp edges.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and continue playing this video.
Sounds like a plan. Let's keep it rolling and see what else comes up. It's always interesting to dive into these conversations and unpack all the layers. So go ahead and play a bit more, and we'll chat about what it becomes next.
Because oftentimes, like it or not, men get told every day where they rank. They get rejected all the time. Men know what they quote unquote qualify for. But women for the last 40 years have been told you can have it all of you, whenever you want, no matter how you are. And they've been given an unrealistic expectation of their actual sexual marketplace value, their actual ability to get it. But then we always talk about, let's look in your life and see where in your life have you been able to attract or deal with these kind of men on a long-term basis. And that's where the conversations tend to go. I think it's funny that when I was talking to men for the previous years about these similar concepts, it wasn't shocking. But it was when I started talking to women about the very things they say they want, then all of a sudden it became this media firestorm.
All right, so that concludes his show there, and so I'm just gonna stop it right there where he's just sitting there on the screen and all. But yeah, men realize that this is a one-way deal. Society has it that the man has to be successful or he's a failure. And women, they can just, at any level, they can just go out and get whatever they want. What do you think about that, Kevin? Oh, he's gone too. So uh, let's go ahead and conclude the show and all. But yeah, that Kevin Samuels part, yeah, he disappeared too. And so I just want to thank all the people that did come out to look at the show. And I want to thank you for being here today. And I want to thank Kevin Samuels AI for coming out, even though he did make it through most of the show, but at the end he faded out. So I want to remind you to take and subscribe. We're doing really good. We're at 152,000 people as subscribers. And a lot of you are filling out the surveys at the end of the show. And I want to thank you very much. Unfortunately, we've had such a tragic year as to start off with the ICE agents and the border agents killing people or shooting them. We have one death, and then by the ICE agents, and we had two more shootings by the border guards. So let's hope that this year will take and come out a whole lot better than what it's starting out as. All right, so this is the What's Up Show. What's up? And thank you very much for looking at the videos. And we'll see you on another edition of What's Up? What's Up? What's Up? Yeah.